Today's country and your all-time favorites, 95.1 The Bull, online, 951thebull.com. On the morning roundup here, it's about 8:24 right now, and our community conversation today brought to you by Floyd County Medical Center, online at fcmc.us.com. We'll be having, of course, our Pledge of Allegiance following my conversation today with Chickasaw County Sheriff Ryan Shawver. Ryan, thanks for joining me here this morning.
Good morning, Rob. Good to be back. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. On maybe a slightly grayish, gloomy kind of Monday.
We'll take it.
Well, hopefully things will improve. I mean, especially with yesterday with all the gusty winds happening.
Correct. We'll take any moisture that they're willing to give us.
With that keeping in mind, of course, this past week we've been having a lot of dry temperatures going on, and with the winds picking up and everything, it's pretty easy to have a wildfire spread in the rural country here.
So, correct. Yes.
So some information, of course, there's been some word about field fires and such.
Correct.
That you can probably shed some light on.
Our office and the area fire departments were rather busy last week. The dry temperatures, spring has sprung. Everybody's getting excited to get out, burn off that CRP, burn off those ditches and whatnot. And it is good to get out there and get that done. However, we need to heed the warnings, the red flag warnings that's put out by the National Weather Service. Talk to your local fire department, see what they have to say. Chickasaw County is not under a burn ban at this time. That may change. The fire chiefs and the EMA director do decide if and when that is needed. But these fires can spread rather quickly and do severe damage, not only to grasses and lands and fields that we do not want to have burned, but also to buildings and structures. And it puts a toll on the firefighters and their bodies and their equipment. So we want to just heed those warnings. Take your time. There's a lot of springtime ahead of us yet to get that job done when the conditions are correct for it.
So when travelers do notice seeing something burning out there, should they call in as a 911 call or maybe a non-emergency? How does that work out?
If you're out and see smoke and think, hey, maybe that's not controlled, people do a really good job. We want to emphasize, if you do decide to burn, please call our office and let us know where you're burning, when you approximately think you're going to be done, and then call back when you're done. Yes, if you're out there and see it, call 911 if you don't know our direct 3121 number. And if we've got record of it, great. And if we don't, we'll send a deputy out and maybe even page a fire department out just to check it out. So, and that's all those people traveling and seeing that, as well as those deciding to burn, just to call it in, let us know. And so we have record of it where it's at.
We'll keep Toby busy, but not too busy.
Not too busy.
Just the way we like it here. Chickasaw County Sheriff Ryan Shawver joining us here on the Morning Roundup. It's not that far down the line. We got St. Patrick's Day that's coming up, a holiday
Correct.
Weekend ahead. So, again, to kind of keep things in check, like we talked last month with Super Bowl weekend, again, a reminder just to, embellish, but embellish responsibly.
Correct.
When taking part in the weekend activities.
Yes, kind of like on Super Bowl when we talked that it's one of those holidays that really isn't publicized, but is one of the most celebrated holidays that's out there. You consider St. Patrick's Day with going out and having a few drinks, whether it's an Irish whiskey or a green beer, whatever you might want to partake in, but you want to be responsible as well. It's okay to do that and patronize our local establishments, but just be smart about it. Know your limits. Get a designated driver. If you're in an area that has ride shares such as Uber or Lyft, the other ones that are out there, even local taxi services, local bus, public transportation, utilize those services to get home safe, so you're safe as well as those others out on the road.
Yeah, and of course, in the Chickasaw County city limits, we do have, a bus program, that does run.
Correct.
So it doesn't hurt to call ahead and schedule something in advance.
Definitely.
And again, the local taxis, they're here to help you.
They are. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Might spend a few extra dollars than what you wanted to, but it definitely cheaper than the alternative, whether it's a damage to your vehicle, hurting yourself or someone else, and even the fines associated with the operating while intoxicated charge if it gets to that point.
Oh, very good. Keep those in mind here. Chickasaw County Sheriff Ryan Shawver again joining us here. Another, of course, holiday weekend that'll be for a little further down the line. We got Easter weekend towards the end of March. Kind of same rules apply there.
Correct.
And also traveling, maybe you're going to visit the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, and such.
Correct. And there's a lot of activities. I know our local Women of Today usually put on a thing at the park with our parks department here in New Hampton, at least. And there's other ones in the community that go on as well. So be extra careful when you're out and about, seeing those kids out there hunting for those Easter eggs, whether they're at the parks or at the different residences in town. They're out for one thing, to find that golden egg and not watching out for cars. So just be extra cautious when you're out and about as well.
Especially on the speed limits, Michelson Park, it can just take one careless deed to go, over the speed limit. And
correct.
It all happens in a flash of a second.
Very quickly.
very,
Yes.
very quickly. So yeah, again, keep that in mind. And of course, now that, we've noticed with the change in the weather trends and everything here, things to keep in mind with spring weather on the horizon, planters are starting to get out there in the
They are.
fields.
It's hard to believe that the first part of March here, you've got implements in the field. I just out and about the other day patrolling. I saw some farmers in there out turning dirt already, putting anhydrous. So that those times are upon us. They want to get the jump on things. So be cautious to our drivers out there. You'll see a lot more implements on the road, and as well as those driving those implements, be extra cautious. People get in too big of a hurry, so they also need to be aware. And if you're having a big train of equipment, space yourselves out so you can be a little bit more courteous to those out on the roadways as well.
Definitely keep your eyes on the horizon and not on our phones.
Correct. That's right.
Definitely not. And yeah, and also, we notice again with some sprinkles happening this morning, we're now getting to that change between winter and spring driving, kind of balancing between the two, because we're not quite out of the woods yet.
Correct.
So again, we want to remind riders coming through the area, just be mindful of road conditions.
Definitely. They can change in a hurry, especially if we do get some spring rains. I think we would all welcome. But can come with that is some flash flooding this time of year and road washouts, as well as dangerous weather that comes in the area. Tornadoes, this is prime season for tornadoes to starting up again. There is a weather spotter class put on by the National Weather Service here in Chickasaw County on Tuesday, March 12th at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be at the Public Health / Rescue Squad building. That's at 260 East Prospect here in New Hampton. Starts at 6:30. Our EMA is helping put that on, as well as the National Weather Service out of La Crosse is going to have some presenters down for that. So it's a welcome to anybody. You don't have to be a trained spotter, don't have to be a first responder of anything. It's open to the public.
I assume that our good Koloff media correspondent Chris Burke will probably be front in line.
Most likely.
He's a big weather geek around these parts, more so than me. So anyway, Ryan, further information, any of the topics we discussed, general questions, information, how can we get a hold of you?
Yes, absolutely. Our office number is 641-394-3121. That's 24 hours a day. I might not be there when you call if you want to talk to me, but they'll get the message to me. We've got a Facebook page at Chickasaw County Sheriff, Iowa, and our webpage is chickasawcounty.iowa.gov. There's information on there and ways to get a hold of us.
All right, Ryan, any final words before we part ways this morning?
No, just hope we can get some rain. We'll take the clouds. We need some rain. We need some rain out there.
We checked in with Mark Pitts, who said, still in D3 extreme drought here.
Correct.
And honestly, we need kind of the equivalent, almost like a Noah's Ark kind of situation.
We do.
We need like 20 inches of rain right now.
We do. I'm going to take a lot of heat for saying this, but I'll even take it as snow at this point.
We'll take that as well.
Yeah.
As I hate to say the S word.
That's correct. That's
Everybody knows that.
Yep.
All right, Ryan, thanks a lot for joining me here on the Morning Roundup.
Thanks, Rob. We'll see you next time.
You bet. Ryan Shawver, Chickasaw County Sheriff on the Morning Roundup, 95.1 The Bull, brought to you by Floyd County Medical Center, fcmc.us.com.